Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So 2021 is coming to an end, and even though it wasn't as crazy as 2020, we're definitely not going back to the normal that we were used to. But despite all of that, there were still a lot of movies and especially shows released in 2021, especially on streaming services. And so today, I'm going to be giving you my top best and worst movies and shows of 2021. And even though I didn't see everything, the things that I did watch are definitely worth mentioning. So let's go ahead and talk about the best and worst of 2021. So starting things off is going to be the best movies of 2021, starting with number 3 with the movie called Binal Morali. Now this one was unexpected, and I just saw it recently, and I was really surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Now Binal Morali is a Malayalam Indian language film, so this film is out of South India, and it is a superhero film. And even though we've seen so many superhero films already, Binal Morali does something a little bit different because first and foremost, it's more about the people in the community in South India. And so that's something that most superhero films don't have. And what I like about it is you really feel like you are a part of this village. And so the movie takes a lot of time to develop the characters. Not only the main characters of Jason and Shibu, but also even some of the minor characters as well. So by doing this, you really do care about these characters. And one of the things that I think the movie does so well is it helps to add a lot more depth to the villain. And so the villain Shibu changes over time, and you really understand and sympathize in a lot of ways of his action that he's taking. And Jason as a hero also gets development. So with each one of these characters, they grow, and even the minor characters grow somewhat with them. And then the other thing I really enjoyed is the overall production quality. Now this film, if you watch it, you would think it cost some money to make this because the overall effects do really look good. Now it's definitely not going to be at the level of a Marvel film, but once you find out that this movie costs about $2.5 million to make, it's absolutely insane how well this movie looked when it comes to production quality, set designs, and of course the effects. So all of these things put together, great characters, a community, village feel, excellent character development, and some really great production quality, especially when you consider price, and it's fun. So with all of those things together, I highly recommend that you check out Binal Morali, and hopefully we'll get more sequels in this superhero universe. And so the number 2 movie on my list is The Fable. So this is a Japanese action comedy film that was released back in 2019, and it even has a sequel in 2021, but the original is just awesome. And so the general story here is that we have this hitman who cannot kill anybody for a whole year, but at the same time, he has a whole gang and other mercenaries coming to kill him. And beyond all of that, the main character is just so deadpan, funny, and quirky, and all the other people around him are just insanely funny as well. I absolutely love The Fable, and at the same time, when it comes to the action, wow, just imagine John Wick taken to another level. The gun action here is insane, fast, and just super fun. So if you are an action movie and comedy junkie, then I highly recommend that you check out The Fable. And so the number 1 movie on my list this year is Rurouni Kenshin: The Beginning. So this is the final movie in the Rurouni Kenshin movie series, and it's also the prequel to the rest of the movies. And watching this, wow, it's like watching a swords action opera. It was so beautiful, it's fast, it was just amazing time to watch. I love pretty much every second of this film. And when it comes to the story, I really how the beginning really ends everything. And if you watch this entire movie series, from this to Rurouni Kenshin, the final, you just have an excellent time. I really enjoy all the movies in the series, so it's really hard for me to pick one that's the best, but I really feel the beginning had the most heart, and at the same time, it really showed you where Kenshin came from, why things ended up the way that they did. And also, obviously, it is also a love story as well. So all of these things combined along with the spectacular action makes Rurouni Kenshin my number 1 film of 2021. All right, now that you see my top movies, let's go ahead and check out my top shows. Now, this one was really, really hard for me because there were so many great shows released in 2021. And when it comes to Korean entertainment, which is my favorite, there were so many I could have put on this list. But since I only have 3 that I'm going to talk about here, let's go ahead and start off with my number 3 pick, and that is the Uncanny Counter. Now, this one is a combination of a superhero show along with a fantasy and thriller. And so it has all those elements together and it does it so well. And the main things that I love about this show are first, the main characters, the Uncanny Counters in their red jumpsuits. They were just so charismatic and fun. And at the same time, I really did care about them. And so by the end of the show, you just couldn't wait to see more of these characters. And then the second thing that I enjoyed was just the action in this. I love the combination of the comic book superhero action along with the fantasy elements. And so there's definitely a much bigger world in the show that's yet to be explored. And then the final thing is that this show overall is just a fun time. It's just one of those shows that really gets you and you really want to come back to these characters and worlds over and over. So that is my number 3 best show of 2021. And so the number 2 show on my list is Cobra Kai Season 3. Now, even though Season 4 is out, I haven't seen it yet, but I will do a review on that in the future video. Now, Season 3 continues everything that I loved about 1 and 2. But one thing that Season 3 did so well is it brought back characters that I really, really loved from Karate Kid Part 2. And at the same time, it also explored more of the Kreese character, which I did not realize there was even a backstory of him. And Karate Kid 2, for me, was my favorite out of all the movies. And Season 3 just really delivered when it comes to that. And at the same time, we still have the Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do characters as well. So all of these things come together to create a great season, and it makes me look forward to even more seasons of Cobra Kai. So hopefully after Season 4 we'll also get Season 5, and if they go even more than that, I'll continue watching it because I absolutely love Karate Kid, and more importantly, I love what the creators did with the Cobra Kai show. I never imagined that Karate Kid would go beyond that, but this really brought it to a whole nother level, and I can't wait to see more kicks and chops in the Karate Kid series. And so the number 1 show on my list is Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. Now, this completely caught me by surprise because I have seen the original movie that this series was based upon, and that was Mr. Hong and Mr. Handy. And even though I found that to be a fun movie, I didn't really think there was anything more to that. And whenever I heard that they were making a series out of it, yeah, I didn't think it was going to turn out well. But boy, was I wrong, because Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha is absolutely incredible. I love everything about this show. And the thing that I love the most about it is the character development. Not only the main characters, but all the other characters in this small seaside village. Whether it be the grandmas, whether it be the people working in the government offices, restaurant owners, or the police, everybody here is people that you could actually feel like you would meet in real life. And you grow to love them throughout the entire series. And by the end of the series, you just feel really good for watching this. And that's probably one of the best things that this show does. It has a lot of heart and it just drags you in and just keeps you there. And if there's ever another season of Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, I can't wait to go back and revisit this seaside village with these characters that I feel like I know and love now. So that is the number 1 show of 2021 for me, Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below. Okay, so now that you've seen the best of 2021, let's look at the worst. Now, this list is going to be shorter because I generally don't watch shows and movies that I don't like. But in this case, these are the least that I enjoyed, so they would be the worst. And I'm going to start off with shows here, starting with my number 2, and that is Ragnarok Season 2. Now, Ragnarok Season 1, I did enjoy. I really like the fact that they brought Norse mythology into a more realistic setting, along with Thor, Loki, and the Giants. All of those things were really cool. And whenever I heard that Season 2 was coming, I couldn't wait to see what they would do in this universe. And even though it started promising, with each episode, it just got worse and worse. And, well, by the end of the show, it just fell apart, and it was really well, let's just say not what I expected coming from a show about gods and monsters, you know. So that was really disappointing to me. And if they do make a season 3, well, maybe they can improve it. But if it's anything like season 2, then, well, that would be the Ragnarok end of show for me. So that is number 2 worst on my list. And so the number 1 worst show on my list is one that I really was surprised by, and that is Sisyphus. So this is a South Korean time travel sci-fi movie. I absolutely love that genre, and it also has Park Shin-hye, one of my favorite South Korean actresses. But whenever I watched the first 2 episodes of this, man, I was really bored, to be honest with you. There was really nothing compelling in those first 2 episodes, and unfortunately, because of that, I didn't even want to watch the rest of the episodes. And so normally when I see a series and I don't go beyond the first 2 episodes or even the first episode, that's normally a bad thing. And I did kind of like watch some of the later episodes just to fast forward, but even then I was bored. Even though I didn't know what was going on before it, nothing caught my attention. And that's probably the worst thing about this. It really doesn't capture you. And since it is in a genre that I find very interesting, it made it boring. And so yeah, Sisyphus the Myth is the worst show that I've seen in 2021. And I wish that wasn't the case because typically Korean entertainment is my favorite. And this one is just not at that level. All right, now that we're seeing the worst shows, let's go ahead and get to the worst movies. Starting with my number 2 worst. And wow, I was actually shocked by this. The Fable, the Killer Who Doesn't Kill. So as you saw my best of list, the Fable number 1 was one of my favorites. And I was so looking forward to the sequel, which was released this year. And man, it just, I don't know what to say. You know, I felt like this movie killed me because I love the first one so much. And even though we have the same characters from the original movie, this one just did not deliver. It just didn't deliver the excitement, the fun, the charisma of the first Fable. And I was really, really surprised by that. And even though the action in here was still solid, it was not at the level of the original. And this is something that, wow, I was just so disappointed by because I loved that first one so much. I just couldn't wait to see this fun character, the crazy action, the fact that he can't kill anybody. And at the same time, I was hoping we're going to learn more about this world of killers. You know, this was going to be awesome. But instead, it wasn't. You know, it was about this girl from the Fable's past and some other people who really weren't interesting at all. And most of the movie was focused on these other characters and not on the main characters, which I absolutely love from the first movie. And so that is my number 2 worst movie of 2021. Now we get to my number 1 worst movie. This one, above all others. I can't believe I'm saying this, but The Matrix Resurrections. I cannot believe I'm putting a worst list on this Matrix movie. Because whenever I heard it was coming out, I was like, it's The Matrix, okay? It's going to be at least good, you know, at least good, at least better than the last 2 movies, hopefully. But unfortunately, that was not the case. And I don't know if this was done on purpose, but The Matrix Resurrections just failed on practically every single level. But the only thing that really made it worth watching, in my opinion, was actually Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss. Because those were the 2 things that I loved from the original movies. And that was really the only 2 best things that were moved over to this new movie. So everything in this movie, in one word, can be summed up. Boring. This was a boring movie. I can't believe I'm saying that about a Matrix movie. And the fact that they replaced some of my favorite characters with new actors that I just didn't really like in this particular roles that they played here. And also the new characters I could care less about. Everything that I think could have been done wrong with a series like The Matrix was done wrong here. And wow, you know what? I don't think I'm going to come back to the Matrix world. Let's just say that, because this was so disappointing in a very bad way, because I love the first Matrix movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And number 2, number 3, even though they aren't my favorites, I could still say they're fun movies in the Matrix universe. But this one just completely threw away all of those things that I enjoyed, and instead made it one of the worst movies that I've seen, and definitely the worst 2021. All right, so that is my top best and worst of 2021. And even though I put some of these things in the worst categories, I don't want to take anything away from the hundreds and thousands of people who put in a lot of hard work to bring these pieces of entertainment for us to enjoy. So these are just my personal opinions on the entertainment value, but I just have a lot of respect for anybody who actually is able to create these things for all of us to enjoy around the world. Okay, so if you actually had any thoughts on my top best and worst list, or even your own, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And I'll see you in 2022 for more geeky movie and show reviews. And if you're a creative geek like me, and you want to get exclusive access to more content that I don't put out here publicly on my YouTube channel, then join my Gold Content Creators group, where you're going to get content like this and more for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators group.